الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قد أفلح المؤمنون الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون صدق الله العلي العظيم وقد قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أسوأ النفس السابقة الذي يسرق صلاة أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. My most respected gathering, may the peace, mercy, and the blessings of Almighty Allah descend upon us all. The verse I have read came to us from chapter 23, verses 1 and 2, where Allah Almighty has declared, surely those believers are successful, those who are concentrated in their salah. Everybody performs salah. But Allah is saying, to be successful are only those believers who are devoted, they are concentrated, they adopt full concentration in their salah from the beginning to the end, without willfully entertaining any kind of thoughts and welcoming that to the minds. SubhanAllah, we should be reminded that salah was the first and the foremost thing to be obeyed by Allah. And on the greatest of days, the day of judgment, salah will be the first to be reckoned. If the salah of a servant of Allah is in order, it's quite likely that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will allow that servant to pass through green light. SubhanAllah, and that is a very famous hadith we have learned. The 5 great rewards, what it is, for performing 5 times salah in this world. One of it is, Allah will allow him to enter into paradise, into the Hisab, without reckoning, and that by itself is a great bounty. Here in the world, one who takes time off to perform his salah sincerely for Allah, Allah has promised to make his daily bread easy for him. Ask ourselves, what really occupies the attention of a person? Working hard, he says, to make 2 ends meet. He has a lot of commitments, so sometimes he remains in the job, trying to work harder so that he can earn something more. But for those who believe in Allah and put their trust in Him and accept the sayings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam without doubt, He is promising 5 times salah on time throughout your lives. Allah will put everything in place in your life. Everything will be put in place. He makes life easy for you. SubhanAllah. We talk of jihad. Today the word jihad is known by all in the world. But the best jihad is salah. Says the Prophet upon him, the best jihad ever is salah. To commence your salah with proper ablution and to fight, I don't mean with sword and guns, to fight that nafs, to dispel from entering into the mind any thoughts that could come from outside. That is the best jihad, says Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There are many who make flimsy excuses. I am not in the frame of mind to perform salah. I am cursed with grief, problems. When I am at ease, he says, she says, I will perform my salah. I do not want to fool myself. But really and truly, my brothers and sisters, knowledge is light. And there is a great difference between a person who knows and one who does not know. For it has been mentioned in Hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, whenever he was perturbed by anything, either hadabahu amrun fadi'a ila salah, at once he resorted to salah. If it was not time for farz, obviously he resorted to optional prayer, to nafil. Any kind of problem, big and small, the first thing Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did was salah. And how many, basically the prayer, how many times we have heard, Ista'inu bis-sabri was-salah. Seek help by patience and by prayer. It is indeed a recipe and the real solution for our problems that we are facing today. Salah is indeed the question. It is the solver of our problems. SubhanAllah, without a key you cannot open the lock, you cannot enter into a closed building. Even in the mosque, which is being closed for security reasons at time, one comes and there is no key, it's locked, you have to fetch the key. Paradise also has a lock. There are doors and gates in heaven. The Rasul upon him announced, As-salah, salah miftahul jannah. It is the key to paradise. Make no mistake. Do not play with salah any time. There were many instances where the Prophet upon him did very strange things in order to educate his companions and his followers, like this one. At one time he came outside, Kharaja. It was autumn and the leaves of the tree were falling off in large numbers, as is happening now in the dry season here in this part of the world. Some trees are left without any leaf. He held on to the branch of a tree and he shook it fiercely. When the leaves began to fall out even more in large numbers, he called out Abu Dharr. He said, "Abay, present, here I am, Ya Rasulullah." This is when the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Inna al-abd Muslim, without doubt, a believing Muslim servant. Everyone must be a servant of Allah. We are Muslims. A Muslim servant, la yusalli as-salah, who will perform salah, yuridu biha wajha Allah. And this is a He performs salah desiring the pleasure of Allah Ta'ala. No other reason. It is not to show off. It is not as a custom. It's not that he is doing it because it's a habit. He is doing it for the pleasure of Allah. فَتَحَافَجُوا عَنْهُ ذُنُوبُهُ. His sins will fall off from him, will be shed away. كَمَا تَحَافَجُ هَذَا الْوَرَقُ عَنْ هَذِهِ الشَّجَرَةِ. Just as the leaves of this branch is falling off. That's the effect salah has on a believer. When he performs salah sincerely for the pleasure of Allah. And this he does not occasionally, not only on a particular season. He does it in every day of his life 5 times, and that is what makes a person a believer. Salah is a partition between belief and kufr. The difference is a believer offers salah. A non-believer does not offer salah. That is a big difference. At one time we asked, do you think if a person would take a bath every day 5 times in a brook, in a stream that runs in front of his house? It's a stream that runs in your yard, clean running water. And the dweller of that home will dip and dive and take a bath every day 5 times. Do you ever think there will be dirt left on his body? The companions looked on and said, certainly not. Our leader died. He said that is the same effect the 5 times salah has in the lives of the believing servant. What are we waiting for? What more do we want to hear? To be moved to perform salah every day of our lives, 5 times. Whatever we are doing, leave it. Before the time of that particular prayer expires, make sure that you will perform the salah. The first and foremost to be ordained on the day of judgment. And my friends, the Prophet upon him, he said, the worst thief is that person, yasriku salata, who steals away from his salah. When he said that, companions radiallahu anhu said, what kayfa yasriku min salati ya Rasulullah? How would a person steal from his prayer, O Messenger of Allah? In reply he said, that is when he does not perform the ruku and the sajda properly. He steals from his prayer. Generally that would be anybody who performs salah and does not perform the ruku, the postures appropriately. It is like you are stealing from yourself. You are stealing. That is aswa'un nasi sadiqa. The worst thief ever is to steal from your salah. And that is why the Prophet Allah has mentioned in the Quran, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Surely the believers are successful, but those of them who are concentrated, salah for them would mean something significant. You look forward for it. Way before salah, you perform your ablution. All the preparations are there. You are coming towards salah. You are driving towards the mosque. It's about, I am going for salah. I am going for salah. Take the example of a person who might be you've taken measurements and you're trying to remember. You have 5, 6 figures to remember. You have it in your mind and you're walking, going, you're going to cut. You have a lumber in your hand and you're going to cut. You don't want to get in any kind of conversation with anybody. You are afraid you're going to forget your numbers, you will mix it up. And that is the case of the person who comes for salah. As you come, you see the door. It's about Allahumma ftahli abwaaba rahmatik. A little quick salam and salutation, fine. There is space and time for everything. It's not when you come upstairs, you come within the walls, it's not about too much of, dialogue and guftagu and talks and chats. But you are afraid you will miss the real thing you will come for. Depending on what you say and how you engage, 5 minutes just before you stand up and you make a prayer tahrima, depending on that, so will be your concentration of your salah. Some people believe that it's not good to just come and stay quiet. They don't believe in sitting quietly. They believe in going and meeting, talking, and socializing. As I said, there is space and time for everything. You want to achieve the maximum blessings and benefits for the effort you have made. Allah said it. Surely, indeed, the believers are successful. Those of them who are devoted, dedicated, we will concentrated in their salah. And this is important. When a person commences salah, right from the beginning, and he is devoted and he thinks about Allah, and he is engaged heart and soul in the dhikr of Allah, Allah turns towards him. The moment he begins to stray, he looks right, he looks left, Allah turns away from him. Allah turns away from him. My brothers and sisters, what is contained in the soul, in the mind, internally, it is being translated by the physical body. Anytime you see a person in salah, looking right, looking left, for sure you know he is also distracted internally. And that is what causes him to look right and to look left. And we still have people who do that. The word takbir tahrima. The word tahrima, harrama yuharrimu tahrimatan muharrimun. That is the conjugation of the word tahrima. It comes from haram. Harrama, to make something unlawful. To make something haram is harrama. And that takbir, the tahrima, is so named because the moment the worshipper says takbir tahrima, it makes everything that was halal just before takbir, it now becomes haram. Reading, eating, chewing, looking at your watches, all that which was just a moment ago halal, now with takbir tahrima, all these have become haram. It's now haram. You are not allowed. Servant king, you are not supposed to be looking right and looking left. You are in salah, someone enters the door, you turn and look. Suppose in one day he said, how are you doing, brother? You're looking at him, and you're in salah. Why are you going to look? That is why the sunnah is when you stand up in qiyam, you bend your eyes with humility to that spot where your forehead will be in contact when you are in sajda. Maintain that. Even though nobody is looking at you, you know Allah is looking at you. And that is where you get your marks. That is where you get your marks. Everybody talks about success. For the past week, we have been praying individually and collectively for all our children who are writing exams. We ask Allah for them for success. The greatest success ever, Allah has declared it in this book. Indeed, the believers are successful. That is the genuine success. But those of them who are devoted, they are humble and thoughtful in their salah. Do you know that it is mentioned when a person in salah, his mind strays and thinks about this and that, Allah commands the angels to have that prayer he is offering flung back to him like a dirty rag thrown at the face of someone. how very sad it is. Already you have left your home, you have departed from your family. It takes time to come. It takes time to leave and to come. That is some effort. And when you have reached here, to just stand up and make the motion without any concentration, the truth is, based on this belief, you have wasted your time. Make the effort. This is part of the preparation we have spoken about in the previous khutbah. When the month of Rajab comes, it is tarkul athar, to abandon bad practices and to engage in the obedience of Allah Ta'ala. Ramadan is about the increase of ibadah. Salah, mashallah, is one of them. And from now we should try to improve the status of our salah. It does not happen by hearing a hadith or by reading or speaking a hadith. It takes effort, time, it takes. We practice it from now. Let me see if this salah I am now about to read will be better than ever I have read before. And it's a jihad. It's a jihad. Fight to dispel every thought that will come to your mind. One who will entertain thoughts in salah and not remember Allah, it weakens his memory significantly. It weakens your memory. Curtails of your sustenance. And so, my brothers and sisters, we make the effort. And this can be earned from additional prayer. Farad is just 5 times short. But in the extra sunnah, nafil that we are reading, there is where we umur. That is where we practice. That is why you will notice in many of the salah, before the farad, you have sunnah. To prepare the mind. Like an aircraft, it takes off, it goes on the runway, it has to pick up a certain speed, and then it lifts off the ground. There are certain salah. Before you enter the faras, you have to tune in. By praying the sunnah, you get in readiness, the minds are being prepared. And let me read shorter rakats. Shorter rakats and maintain the concentration. And one thing that will help you is to understand what you are reciting. Think and ponder over what you are reading. Make sure that you feel the lessons. So much was said about forgiveness and sins and shadowing. Look how salah ends. When a worshipper sits in that very humble posture, he says, Allahumma, he's calling on his Lord. Inni dhalamtu nafsi. Verily, I have wronged myself. Here it is, each one is evaluating himself. Today we look at the shortcomings and the faults of others. And we forget oneself. We forget our own self. We forget to evaluate ourselves. It's about coming to check and recheck and manage others. Allahumma inni dhalamtu nafsi. Oh Allah, verily I have wronged myself. Wala yaghfiru dhunuba illa anta. And there is none to forgive sins except you. Maghfirli. Therefore you forgive me. Maghfiratan min indik. In forgiveness from within thyself. For verily there is none to forgive sins but you. Depending on your sincerity, your concentration before you turn right or left, and that is when you finish your ending salah. You make salams to the right or left, inshallah the sins will be forgiven. If throughout salah you are turning right and you are turning left, what is there special? What is there special when you end salah and you turn to the right and you turn to the left? There is nothing special. It's like the person who is eating and drinking throughout the days of Ramadan. When Eid comes, what is there to celebrate? What is there so great? In salah, you are dedicated for that 5 or 10 minutes. You look where you are ordered to look. At the end of it, there is a certain amount of joy and relief you get. Look to the right, look to the left, you are giving salah to May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless and reward us throughout our lives. Rabbi ij'alni muqim as-salah. My Lord, you make me one who would establish prayer. Rabbi ij'alni muqima. Make me one who would establish salah. And that alone is not sufficient. Wa min dhurriyyati, and from among my offspring, progeny, my children, my grandchildren, and those after them, that they also be among those who will uphold the salah throughout their lives. Let that dua be made every time you perform salah, so that Allah will answer, and your children, together with your dawah and effort, admonishing them. It is about salah. The Prophet upon it, he said, Muru awladakum bis salah wa hum abna'u sab'in. Casually order your children to pray. Come on, son. Come on, Munafni. Come, it's time for prayer. It's 7 years. Not that you shouldn't do it before that. If you are in the habit of praying, the little toddlers will see. That's okay. They jump on your back, that's okay, that's alright. Bring them to the mosque. We are never fed up with children. But, as I said, you're bringing children to the mosque, Ramadan is coming again. It shows up very clearly. Those who give training, tarbiyah, and those who do not. It shows up very clearly. Children today, they receive tarbiyah much easier. It is quite clear. Those parents who give a little training to their children and those who do not. You leave them to do just everything they want. It shows up right here. A little training, we tolerate, but we are not fed up with children. Bring them to the dinners, wherever. Bring them, they are part of us, they are part of the Jamaat. When they are 7 years, now physically make sure you follow the Sunnah and you say it, so you will be rewarded. It will go down in record that you will say, oh my child, son, daughter, come perform salah. Because the Prophet has said, order your children to read namaz when they are 7 years. Order them. وَضْرِبُوهُمْ عَلَيْهَا. Beat them when they are 10 years. That is if they cannot read it. Of course, that وَضْرِبُوهُمْ, beat them. You look in the explanation of the hadith, you will use a toothbrush or something of that nature, not a stick and a whip or anything that is too harsh. Something small, just to educate them and teach them the significance of performing salah. Beat them when they do not do it. That's our duty. Barakallahu lana wa lakum fil Qur'anil azim wa nafa'ana wa iyyakum bil ayat